What is going on, everyone? Israel back again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Angels. Now, this team is such a disappointment year over year. It's actually embarrassing how bad they've actually been now looking at their seasons. And I question every year why everyone thinks this team's going to be competitive, because they never are. I would say their last competitive season was probably 2015, which is pretty sad to say. That was the last season they went over 500. I mean, if we just look at these seasons from 2016 to 2023, it is not impressive. And in that time, you had 4 MVP winners on your team and a Rookie of the Year, which is pretty insane. That being obviously Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. So now that Ohtani is gone, this team is going to get even worse, right? They're obviously not going to be over 500. That's, that hasn't happened in forever, and they haven't got better. They have got a lot of help in their bullpen and their pitching this offseason. They've signed a lot of good pitchers, I think. But overall, for the hitting side, they haven't really got better. Obviously, losing Shohei Ohtani is probably going to be the biggest, downside of this whole offseason, let's be honest. So it's going to be an extremely hard player to replace, and they're probably not going to do it. But, I do like this interesting strategy they have going into the next couple seasons, which is they get a high draft pick pretty much, and they bring the players up really quickly, and then they end up playing in the MLB, and they actually tend to be pretty good. We saw this with Neto, we saw this with Nolan, and we're probably going to see whoever they draft in 2024. Yeah, so this team has still not impressed me in a while, so we're going to see what happens in 2024, but just looking at these past seasons, you cannot tell me this franchise is good. But taking a look at these contracts that they have with the squad right now, we have seen the Mike Trout contract and the Anthony Rendon contracts are their biggest. That's where they're spending their most amount of money on this team, on those two contracts right there. I can't believe the Anthony Rendon. I'm surprised he was able to get that. Shout out to Scott Boras for helping him out with that deal. Obviously, Trout's been there for a while. We know Tyler Anderson's on that 3-year contract. Evan White's on his 6-year contract still. And then Dirty's on his 2-year contract. And then Garcia and Clymer on their 1. And Carlos Esteves, I'm pretty sure that's how you say his last name, is also on that 2-year contract. And then everyone else is pretty much in that arbitration or pre-arbitration. We obviously see this with a ton of teams nowadays. Just the way the rookie contract and the service time actually ends up working. So, for example, a guy like Neto, he's in his first year of pre-arbitration, but he's 4 years of arbitration just because of the 6-year contract. Yeah, looking at their financial situation, they've spent $118.8 million on this team. Counting out all the arbitration and all the fees coming on in, it's about $143.2 million. So obviously, this team being in a major city has spent a pretty decent amount of money. I feel like they would spend more if they were actually trying to win. Let's be honest, there's a lot of free agents out there right now, and I think they definitely could have spent some money on a couple of those guys, especially with the slow free agent market we're having. I mean, you got to think after losing Ohtani, you go get like the best hitter available, or you go get the best pitcher available to try to refill him. Like once we said again, we still have Snell and Bellinger out on this market right now. They can afford another big contract for sure. But for the Angels, it's definitely interesting looking at the full picture where this team stands right now, and it's just not looking good at all. And the worst part about this is they don't even have any prospects that are supposed to come up this year. If we look at the ETAs, all their 2023 and 2024 ETAs are already with the team, so we're gonna see how that does. And Nolan obviously came up last year. He's a 2024 ETA, and they only have 1 pitcher. So we gotta start looking at some of their 2025 ETAs and 26 ETAs, because they don't really have a lot of prospects that they could call up, which is why I think this team is going to continue to lose for a couple more seasons, just because they don't really want to make a lot of moves. Obviously the pitching moves they've made have been solid. I do agree with them on that, but like actually trying to compete and win, there's no shot this team will compete in the next 3 years, probably maybe 2-3 years. I just don't see it happening, and they're going to have another mediocre season. So if you're an Angels fan, you might have to drive to Dodger Stadium this season, try to root for them for a little chip, because it's not happening on this side. And even if looking at their depth chart and all their active players, like, it's not a terrible squad. Like, there are definitely some shining stars on this team, I think, for sure. But just looking at the team as a whole and where they stand across the board on, in the league, it's just not going to be good. And especially in that division now where it's very tough with, both Texas teams, Seattle playing well. I mean, it's just them and Oakland that are really going to decide the 4th and 5th seed. So yeah, me personally, I don't really have this team anywhere near the playoffs. Probably, 4th in the AL West, probably going to lose another something games, maybe get 70, 60 wins around there. Kind of be mediocre again. I think if I were the Angels, I'd probably blow it up, to be honest. I think I'd blow it up. I'd get rid of all these terrible contracts they have, especially that Rendon contract. I mean, that is insane. $38.6 million for 3 years left on his deal is actually insane. And he hasn't even played a lot either, which is crazy to me. Obviously, they still have the Trout question mark, man. Me personally, I'd probably trade Trout. If I'm the Angels, I'd probably get rid of him. It's gonna be a tough one to hear, but the thing is, you probably get so much value back for him that it honestly might be worth it just to like have some good players and win again. But if they don't want to trade Trout, if they didn't want to do that, I could see him definitely staying there and just try to build something around this squad. They just gotta build something. They gotta get something. They gotta get prospects. They gotta sign some new free agents, and they gotta get something with this squad. Because right now, I mean, I'd blow it up. Keep Trout, maybe keep some of the rookies. Obviously, keep some of the pitchers they have, because I do like some of their pitchers on their squad, like some of their starters and their bullpen pieces. But besides from that, there's not a ton of players that I really keep on this team. That's kind of my thoughts on this Angels squad. They're not going to be competitive for a while, and I just don't know where I see this team at. I mean, it's just like a disappointing like side of LA that they're on, and you know, it's just not it. So we'll see. I'm actually curious to see what their attendance numbers are, just because of, you know, losing Ohtani, so that's going to bring the attendance down, and then not really making a lot of moves in the offseason is going to probably bring the attendance, you know, a little bit down, I would assume. And we know everything's getting expensive and the Dodgers are getting good and all that stuff. That's what I would do if I was the GM. Blow it up, sell the team, get out of the business. We'll see what they do on that front. And we obviously heard those rumors all in the last offseason. But what do you guys think the Angels should do? What are you guys' thoughts on this team moving forward to 2024? Because it's just really weird. I think, in my opinion, it's going to be a big question mark, I think, looking at this team totally. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about this one. But if you guys do enjoy these videos, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.